Yo, what's going on, true Blazers fans? It's Tori, and I'm back with another player analysis. So if you did not see the first one on Jake Layman and that's something you're interested in, go check it out. So if you're new to the series, basically I'm breaking down the players past season. If they played in Summer League, I'm breaking down what they did there. And then I'm looking at things that I hope they're working on in their game this summer and things I want to see them improve for next year. So we're starting at the end of the bench, working our way towards the starters. So that should be a good thing to tie you guys over until we hit some preseason action. So if you're a true Blazer fan and haven't hit that subscribe button down below, then you definitely should, and leave a like on this video. It definitely helps us out, helps us grow a little bit more on YouTube. And yeah, with all that being said, we're going to jump into the player analysis for Wade Baldwin IV. So Wade Baldwin was initially selected with the 17th overall pick in the 2016 draft. Of course, this selection wasn't made by Portland, it was made by the Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis viewed him as an athletic guard that could become a good defender and provide some playmaking and some slashing ability at the point guard spot. However, Wade Baldwin was not a good presence in that Memphis locker room. He wouldn't accept any rookie hazing, he thought he should be playing more than he was, and according to reports, he had this arrogance about him that veterans just didn't like, and veterans asked for the Memphis Grizzlies to cut their first round pick only a year after he was drafted. For Baldwin, this was a definite fork in the road. One direction, he could keep doing the same stuff and keep having the same attitude towards basketball and probably find himself out of the NBA within a couple years, or he could use it as a learning experience and be humbled by it and change his attitude into one of a very hard worker and somebody that's willing to dedicate themselves to the game. It appears he chose that second choice, as Portland ended up signing him at the beginning of last season to a two-way contract. Now, he did have some injury problems at the beginning of last season, so he didn't play in the G League or the NBA until the middle part of the year. He looked pretty solid in a few G League games where his athleticism definitely stood out, and when Portland traded Noah Vonleh at the trade deadline, they had an open roster spot that they were able to give to Wade Baldwin. They were able to reward him with a full guaranteed spot, and that contract runs up through this next season. Wade Baldwin got his first minutes in a Trailblazers uniform on March 6th against the New York Knicks. He played 3 minutes of garbage mop-up duty, but he did not score from the field. However, in his next game, almost a month later, on March 28th, Wade Baldwin got a chance against the team that cut him, the Memphis Grizzlies, and he got a chance to inflict some revenge. Damian Lillard was missing the game due to the birth of his child, so Wade Baldwin was able to take over some of those point guard minutes. In 20 minutes that night, Wade Baldwin had a terrific game, setting a career-high 15 points to go along with 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 5 for 6 from the field, and he made the only 3 he took. He also provided some very good defense, and he was one of the best players on the court, and he showed his former team that maybe they made a mistake in letting him go that past fall. On March 5th, he ended up playing against the Houston Rockets for a grand total of 31 minutes, where he provided some very good defense against James Harden, some very physical, aggressive lockdown type of effort on that end, and he also poured in 14 points, 3 assists, and 2 steals. He was efficient once again from the floor, shooting 6 for 10 and shooting 2 for 3 from the three-point line. Of course, three-pointers were a question mark with him, but in his very small sample size last year, he showed that he can knock down some shots. It may be fluky, but his stroke is pretty smooth, so I think it's something that should translate, especially since he was a pretty good shooter in college. So the Portland front office was definitely very interested in what Wade Baldwin could do for the Summer League squad in Las Vegas this summer. And over the first 5 or 6 games of Summer League, Wade Baldwin was one of the best players in the entire tournament. He was providing great lockdown defense, he was hitting threes, he was very aggressive and very strong driving to the rim, and he had a couple 20-ish point scoring efforts, had a few games where he flirted with 10 assists, flirted for a triple-double in one of them, and although it was inferior competition, he showed to have good control running a team, he was making good decisions with the ball, he was taking the right shots while still remaining aggressive, and although he struggled in his last 2 games, what he showed in Summer League gave a lot of true Blazer fans hope. It was to the point where Trae Young did not want to face him a second time and sat out due to rest. Because in the first game they played, Wade Baldwin absolutely shut Trae Young down, had Trae Young looking all out of sorts and almost intimidated, and Wade Baldwin was putting it to him on the offensive end as well. Wade Baldwin was looking like the top 5 pick in that matchup, not Trae Young. And I was especially impressed with how he looked in transition. This dude is very, very quick for how big and strong he is for a point guard. And it almost reminded me of a poor man's version of Russell Westbrook with the way that he drove downhill. So looking ahead for Wade Baldwin, first we got to define his role. and I honestly don't expect him to see too many minutes unless there's an injury in that backcourt. Seth Curry is the real deal, and Seth Curry should definitely be playing over Wade Baldwin. And for as much as I love the way Wade Baldwin plays, Seth Curry should definitely be playing over him. Portland needs a shooter in that third guard spot, and while Baldwin has shown he can knock down those shots, you don't sign a lethal shooter like Seth Curry and then not play him 20 to 25 minutes a game. Of course, that's all that's available, backing up CJ and Dame. And I really don't think that Wade Baldwin can play the small forward spot. While he does have long arms and he is pretty strong, he's still a pretty short 6'4". You don't really see guys that height playing there at that small forward position. Let me know if you think he should play over Seth Curry, or let me know if you think they should try him out at the small forward position and get Turner out of there. Go down in that comment section below and let me know what you think his role will be next year and what it should be in your opinion. With that out of the way, we're going to talk about the things I want to see him improve next season. First off, if he's going to see a lot of minutes at that backup guard spot, he definitely needs to be able to space the floor to make it easier on CJ or Dame, whichever one is in the backcourt with him. I do like Baldwin paired with either of them because Baldwin can guard the best guard in the backcourt, and Lillard or McCollum, who were both known as lesser defenders, could take the weaker of the opposing guards. Baldwin is big enough to guard either guard spot, so that's pretty nice to have in a third guard. It definitely gives you some leeway defensively. So other than shooting, I definitely want to see him be effective and aggressive in transition. I think the Blazers need to play a lot more transition basketball, a lot more fast break, and Baldwin would probably be a very good change of pace in the second unit that could kind of spark that. Now, I do got to note that young guards tend to get a little bit too sped up and make bad decisions just because they're not seeing the game quick enough. So that's why I said I want to see him play aggressive, but also effective in transition, make the right passes, back it out if you don't have anything, don't force a tough shot. Just want to see him be able to make the right decision like that, because with how quick he is, he's not going to have a lot of time to make the right decision. He's going to have to work on not getting too sped up and making the right play in transition for him to be a real threat, but the potential is definitely there. I do think he does need to improve his ball handling a little bit. It is pretty rudimentary for a point guard. With his quickness and his strength, if he had the handle to break people down, I think he would be absolutely lethal offensively. He does have some craftiness in the 5 to 10 foot range, likes a little mid-range fadeaway, a mid-range pull-up, has floaters. You know, he has a decent amount of craft around the rim. I just want to see him be a little bit sharper with his moves. You know, when you watch Russell Westbrook going downhill, he's so sharp and he changes angles so fast that he's impossible to stop. With Baldwin, I see the speed, I see the strength. He's just not sharp enough with his moves, and he doesn't have the ball handling to really be sharp enough. So he definitely needs to improve his ball handling, especially if teams figure out that he's not the best ball handling point guard and decide to pressure him. I did see him struggle a little bit against pressure in Summer League, and there was a play last year in the regular season too where he looked very bad and he could not handle any sort of full court pressure. I think he turned it over, it turned into a layup for the other team. So he does need to improve his ball handling. That's another thing. Fourth, and maybe most important for some people, is finding that fine line defensively where he's not fouling too much, but he's still playing aggressive. Because he definitely looked like a guy who loves to play physical and aggressive defense, but he doesn't have that reputation yet. He's going to have to build that reputation over the years if he's going to be a long NBA player and be able to get away with the stuff that like Tony Allen does. Because Tony Allen, he'd mug you, but refs respected his defense and would let him get away more than the average NBA defender. So that line might be a little bit tight on Baldwin, but he has to find it, and he has to play aggressive enough defense up to that line, but not exceed it. If he's playing too aggressive, he's going to get himself and his team into foul trouble. If he's not playing aggressive enough, then he's not making enough use of the tool set and the ability he has on that end. So he's definitely going to have to learn what he can get away with and what he can't. And once he does that, I do expect him to be a very good defender. So let me know down in the comment section below what you think about Wade Baldwin, what you hope to see out of him this upcoming season. And like I said earlier, let me know what you think his role should be. Should he be playing small forward? Should he and Curry be splitting the backup guard minutes? Or should they continue to develop him and use him situationally when there's an injury to Curry, Dame, or CJ, or when there's a guy that they need to stop? I don't know. Just let me know your thoughts down below. I like engaging with you guys and talking about this. So with that being said, this has been Tori here with True Blazer Fan. I'm out of here. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Go Blazers. Go Rip City.